Before we get into this special weekend edition of Just the Truth, let me tell you about the latest special from Mike Lindell at MyPillow. The standard MyPillow, normally $49.98 for a limited time only, just $14.88 with promo code Joey. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, and see all the specials. There's a limited quantity of just 10 at this special price. That's $14.88 with promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Remote Area Medical is a nonprofit whose mission is to provide free quality health care to those in need, and they are in Greenville this weekend. We'll talk with clinic coordinator David Morales for the details. Peg and I found a great new restaurant just north of Lake Keowee on Highway 11. It's Crave Kitchen, and you're going to want to check this one out. The South Carolina legislature has been in session exactly 1 month now. We'll check in with Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette and Matt Wills, the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Greenville Chamber, to get an update on what's happening in the Palmetto State's capital. Let's get started.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson Bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson Bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
On our guest line, Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette. How are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. I hope you've had a great week so far.
I have had a wonderful week. Thank you for asking. Let's just jump right in. It's been a busy week in South Carolina in the State House. Lots going on. Let's start with the South Carolina House this week. They passed the South Carolina Energy Act. Talk with us about this bill and why it's important.
Well, Joey, you and I have talked about this before. We tried to pass an energy bill last year. It died on the last day of session. We have to do something. This is not just a South Carolina problem. Under the Biden administration, they had horrible energy policies, really hurt businesses across the country. But here in South Carolina, 2 Christmases ago, we almost experienced a rolling blackout. Perfect storm, cloudy, cold, Christmas Day. Everybody's consuming a ton of electricity. So that's when we in South Carolina, the governor started Power SC to start having like a very in-depth conversation with our energy producers, with energy experts to say, okay, what are we going to do? So as you saw in the General Assembly, in the House, passing the energy bill, excuse me, Joey, they basically saying that we are putting all forms of energy on the table. We're going to look at nuclear. Now that President Trump is back in office and everybody realizes he's an energy-friendly administration, there's been a lot of activity around kind of resurrecting the old VC Sumner sites, people looking at the foundation of what is there, is it still usable, things like that. So we're seeing more of that. We want to make sure we're putting nuclear on the table, making sure we put natural gas on the table and hydrogen. Hydrogen isn't up and coming, still a little bit pricey in the energy world because they're perfecting it. But basically what we're saying is we're going to do everything, and we're going to cut useless regulations that make it harder and more expensive, to be able to produce energy, transmit energy. And so I think they've done a great job. I'm excited to see what happens now. It always becomes a chess match when it goes over to the other body to see what they add on to it or take away from it. But the governor and I are very excited because the governor and I have been saying for 2 years, we have got to move forward with an energy plan because we have to keep energy reliable and affordable. If we don't, South Carolina will stop growing. And when you stop growing, that becomes a problem within your state. So we're anxiously waiting to see what that bill looks like.
Yeah. And energy is such an important part. I mean, a lot of people, they think about energy to just heat and cool their home, put gasoline in your car, but energy just affects so many different things. We've talked about many times in the past. Gasoline prices affects everything that we purchase because at some point that product is in the back of a truck, a vehicle. So, all right, you mentioned nuclear. Is there any chance that the VC Summer project could potentially be resurrected? I mean, you look at that, it was just a disaster. billions of dollars in losses there. Any chance that there's hope for that?
There is chance that there's hope for that. I think we have a lot of outside companies coming in and looking at that foundation, doing some testing to figure out is it salvageable where it is, which saves the next person a lot of money, right? Because that foundation becomes critical. So there's some testing going on to see, hey, is this a good place to start? Would we have to take it all down? But when you have a president that is pro-business and pro-America, like President Trump is, you start getting people excited about spending money. Nobody wants to spend money if they think they're going to hit roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, because it adds the cost up on it, right? And then it becomes out of reach. So there is a chance. So this is good. This is all good stuff. But just the fact that President Trump turned back on natural gas, made natural gas okay, turning on pipelines again, it becomes a game changer. I mean, when I was in Germany last year, Joey, I think you and I talked about this, when the Green Party took control in Germany and they did away with their nuclear, their GDP had a drop the first time in Germany's history. Because if you're not affordable and you're definitely not reliable, manufacturers cannot count on unreliable energy.
Yeah.
And they were leaving Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So we should learn from the lessons of other countries that have done this poorly and not follow in the same footsteps.
Yeah. Let's move on and change topics here. Tort reform. That's another very important issue here in South Carolina. We've seen a lot of small businesses close because of liability insurance, particularly in the restaurant bar industry. Where do we stand with tort reform, do you think?
So, it's going to be interesting to see, again, always interesting to see what happens when it gets out of one chamber into the next. This is what businesses have been asking for. I mean, over the last 2 years, the chamber, e-commerce, every business group has said, we have got to get some tort reform done. And let's face it, if South Carolina, just like anything, isn't competitive in a space, if insurance companies feel, whether you like insurance companies or you don't like insurance companies or you don't like the premiums you pay, less competition means higher pricing. So every time an insurance company leaves the state, it just makes it, a weaker environment where insurance companies can come in, or it's the high risk markets that come in, right? Because they don't like the risk, and prices go up for people. And, I've been hearing restaurants, the governor is saying it, me saying it this week, like, listen, we're not sure what it's going to look like, but something's got to be done, because we're hearing the cries of business. So I'm glad to see it's moving forward. It's the first time a tort reform bill has ever moved forward. So I'm curious, Joey, again, just like with energy, it's interesting to see what happens when it crosses over to the next body.
Right. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette with me today. With the tort reform, this is something, and if you're listening today, contact your House of Representatives member, your state senator, and let them know that tort reform is important to you, because this is something that again affects everybody, and particularly a lot of businesses who we've seen a lot of longtime businesses close over the last 2 years because they simply could not afford their liability insurance. I mean, I've heard stories of people who have been paying, let's say, $2,500 a year for liability insurance, and it went to $20,000 or $30,000. And it's really affecting a lot of people, and it's affecting the prices that we pay when we go sit down in the restaurant business. When we go to a restaurant and have a meal, it's affecting that price.
Absolutely. You always feel bad. I mean, Joey, I'm an accountant by trade. My business was helping other businesses grow businesses until I became lieutenant governor. And in the restaurant business, it's a hard business. It really is. You talk about waste. You talk about, things going out the back door. You talk about heavy price, when it came to food, like you were just saying, gas prices went up, food prices went up. Those things were organically going up. And then you add something on like insurance prices that is really out of your control.
Yep.
You're right. People sit down and look. It's very thin margins, and you start to just go, there is no way on paper this is going to work. And they end up closing their doors. And we've all experienced that. Someplace we'd like to eat that just said, I can't do it anymore. Or they stopped selling alcohol at all.
Right.
You know, because that's really where the issue comes up. So
yep.
it becomes a real problem.
Yep. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette, always a pleasure. We'll catch up again next week. Be safe. Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Matt Wills is the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Greenville Chamber of Commerce. Matt is responsible for monitoring what is happening at all levels of government with a particular focus on the political issues facing business owners. It's a pleasure to have you back, Matt. Welcome. How are you?
Thanks, Joey. Thanks for having me.
Since we last talked, the South Carolina General Assembly has been in session now for really about a month. Give us an overview of the key issues that you're watching this session.
You know, one of the bigger things that's kind of happened in the first couple of weeks, first couple months that we've seen everything get going here in Columbia. We've got education funding. We've got some energy issues. We've got, joint severals and then some liquor liability issues that have come up. Energy kind of seems to be the one that is moving the quickest and moving, kind of the most efficiently through chambers and through committees. We got it through the LCI committee on the House side, and we got through second reading yesterday. So we've got one more reading to get through, which is mostly a perfunctory process here in South Carolina, which just kind of means they kind of read it across the desk today, and we'll be able to kind of get it moving over to the Senate in its current form that passed yesterday. So that seems to be one of the bigger issues that is really kind of percolating to the top right now.
Sure. And as you mentioned, the South Carolina House appearing to pass the South Carolina Energy Security Act, which, according to House leaders, will ensure reliable, affordable power to keep our economy strong and support future growth. How important is an issue like this to the chamber and to businesses?
Well, it's of massive importance, not just to where we are sitting in the upstate, but across the state, right? So you've got several energy providers across the state that are, screaming, ringing the alarm bell saying, look, what we've built in the first 100 years of our existence in this market, we're going to need to double in the next 10 years. And, that raises some eyebrows real quick. And then, additionally to that, we've got folks that are moving into the state. We've got massive business that is growing in the state. That takes energy. That takes a way to kind of build some resilience around our infrastructure on that side. And this bill goes a very, 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 very long way in doing that.
Yep. With me today, Matt Willis with the Greenville Chamber. You can find information about the chamber at greenvillechamber.org, greenvillechamber.org. All right, let's switch gears here a minute, Matt, and talk about tort reform. Of course, with the recent spotlight on bars and restaurants, many of which have closed because of unaffordable liability insurance. But tort reform goes much further than just liquor liability, doesn't it?
It goes a lot further. And I would be remiss to say this, and sitting in committees and watching this, firsthand, I've not seen this much gaslighting since Mary Poppins, to be honest with you, Joey.
Wow, yeah.
There is so much going on right now that is just either willful misleading or just flat out ignorance coming from the opponents of tort reform and joint several liability reform in this state. It's not a sole lawsuit reform issue. It's not a sole insurance issue. This is a larger, comprehensive issue that needs to be tackled. It needs to be tackled this session.
Yeah. Governor Henry McMaster posted on various social media platforms this week, quote, "It is time for tort reform in South Carolina. The current legal framework and rules are increasingly making South Carolina less competitive. We must strike a balance ensuring justice for victims while protecting job creators from crippling lawsuits. Let's get it done." Do you think the legislature is going to get it done?
I think we get it done in some form. Exactly what that form is, I'm not 100% sure yet, because I don't think the committee knows exactly what that looks like yet. And I think when we sent out our call to action last week around Bill 244, what we were saying and what we were talking about was the framework that 244 sits in and the overall posture that we know this is not going to fix everything in its current form. We know it's not going to be a perfect, key for the keyhole that is the problem. But what we do know is it's a great vehicle for that. And leadership is on the Senate side, and Senator Massey has the majority leader has talked about that he wants to work with everybody on this, but he's not willing to do nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that is a breath of fresh air, what we've not seen for a long, long time. I'm confident that we are going to get something done. Exactly what it is, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. With me today, Matt Wills with the Greenville Chamber of Commerce, and we're talking about the issues that are affecting business in South Carolina, but of course affect all South Carolinians, tort reform being one of those. Matt, let's assume that we get everything we think we should get in by way of tort reform. Once this passes, how long will it take for example, for insurance markets to come back to where insurance becomes more affordable?
Well, let's talk about a little bit about what 244 does and what it doesn't do. I think in that specifically, right, and that tort reform. So we get what we want. Is it a guarantee that insurance providers are coming back to the state? No, they're a business just like the businesses that are being affected by lawsuit issues. But does it make the conditions better for them to do business in the state by not having to deal with some of the outrageousness that is the lawsuit situation that we're dealing with? Yes. Does it make it more conducive for them to come back to the state because of that? Yes. Is it a guarantee? No. But government is not supposed to be a guarantee, right? This is a government is supposed to be there when there are problems. Government is supposed to protect us, from enemies, foreign and domestic, according to our Constitution. But also, government is there to kind of provide the groundwork, if you will, of how society is supposed to just function. It's not supposed to be it is supposed to be a guardrail, right? It's not keep you on the road, but it's not supposed to be a safety net.
Yeah.
And I think in most cases, right? So it's not a guarantee. It's not a perfect fix, but government really shouldn't be the answer to this. The free market should be the answer to this. And that's what I think what most of us are looking for in this type of reform.
Yeah. Matt, we all know that there are many legislators in our state, a lot of attorneys who serve in the South Carolina General Assembly. How does that affect the conversation?
They're working really hard right now. And it's not, I don't think it's anyone in particular that is saying, tort reform bad, liquor liability good. And when I see liquor liability, that's specifically insurance reform. Yeah. In this context of debate, but look, they have their interest, right? We're not a full-time legislative state, so these lawyer legislators are folks that are trying to make a living too. And look, I think it would be wrong of us to not say that they are working within the rules that are currently in place. That's exactly what they're doing. Yeah. We just think the rules are unfair, and that's what we're trying to change.
Yeah. Matt, it's always a pleasure. Appreciate what you do in the Greenville Chamber. Again, you can go to greenvillechamber.org to get additional information about the Greenville. Matt, we'll check in with you again next week.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Joey.
Continuing today's show, for my regular listeners, you know that I like to eat. Peg and I always are looking for a new place to break bread, and boy, have I found a good one. As you know, we spent a good bit of time on Lake Keowee, and recently we discovered the newly opened Crave Kitchen. It's a locally and seasonally focused restaurant and bar, and boy, is it good. Joining me today is Lynn Rinaldi. Welcome. How are you, Lynn?
I'm well. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you. And look, Peg and I, as you know, we saw you just this past week. We were celebrating our 29th anniversary, and boy, you guys took great care of us.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It was great to have you. We love people that like to eat.
Yep. Well, what a good job you're doing. So let's just start, Lynn. If you would, give us the general introduction to your restaurant, sort of the 30,000-foot view, if you will.
Okay. So we are in Salem, up on Highway 11. We are a seasonally focused restaurant, really, really fresh ingredients. We have two wonderful chefs that are at the helm. So seasonally focused restaurant, we have an attached market with prepared foods that's open daily. And we have a great team, a great front of the house team, and we're happy to be here.
Yeah, well, look, you're not any happier of being there than I'm happy that you are there, because, on that northern part of Lake Keowee, it's a little remote and there's not a lot of options up there. So when Peg and I discovered that you guys were open, I mean, I think we joined you that pretty much at that first week that you were open, and we've been many times since. It's just a great option. Let's talk about your menu for a minute. Now, I had salmon recently, but you've got a great variety of selection from seafood, steak, roasted chicken, your handmade pasta. Boy, what a menu you have.
Yeah, it is a beautiful menu. The steaks, all the steaks are amazing. We get it from Lynn's Meat. The salmon is Faroe Island salmon, a sustainable farm. My favorite menu item is the pork chop.
Oh, wow.
I think
Yes.
I don't think that you ever had it, but I think that next time you come in, you should try it.
Actually,
it's just delicious.
I did have it. Yes, I snuck in one time, and you weren't around. I snuck in. You didn't realize I was there, but yeah, I did have the pork chop. And pork chop can be tough because you got to cook it just right, so it's not dry, so it's not too tough. And you guys just did it perfectly.
Well, thank you. And to mention our pastas, yes, they are all handmade in-house. The pappardelle bolognese, perfect for this time of year. It's a little chilly outside. And the agnolotti, which is a stuffed pasta, it's just lovely with the taleggio and the walnut piccata, and the wild mushrooms. It's comfort food for this time of year.
I'm getting hungry just talking with you, Lynn. With me today, Lynn Rinaldi. She is are you the general manager? Is that your title?
I am the general manager. Yes. Yes. I recently moved here from Philadelphia. Go Eagles.
Yes. that was a big night for y'all.
I moved here back in August, and I am just loving this area. And yes, when I first came to visit the restaurant, I realized that there is not many food options up here, and kind of in a remote area. Yeah. So the neighborhood and the community really has welcomed us. We're just really thrilled to be here.
Yeah. I was going to ask, how is business? Because every time Peg and I have been in, you have just really been slammed.
Yeah, business, it's very busy. I mean, we are open Tuesday through Saturday from 5 to 9. And then we do brunch on Sunday from 10:30 to 2:30, and then 4:30 to 8:30 for dinner service on Sunday. And we're closed on Monday, and every night of the week is busy. Yeah, every night of the week. And I'm sure that the hours are probably going to get adjusted once the weather gets nice and we, open up our patio seating, which I'm really happy about too.
Yeah, that's a great patio area you have out there, and so I'm looking forward to that actually in the spring when it's warm enough to be seated out there, because that's a beautiful area. With me today, Lynn Rinaldi, and we're talking about a great new restaurant that Peg and I found up on Highway 11 on the northern end of Lake Keowee there. You can go to their website, cravesc.com, cravesc.com. Take a look at their menu. You can also make your reservations online there too. We're talking about the menu. Of course, one of my favorites is the salmon, and I was trying to be healthy on one of our recent visits, and I was having the salmon. But then someone walked by, one of your wait staff walked by with some of the French fries, and I thought, French fries don't necessarily go with salmon, but I think I'm gonna try them anyway. Wow, they're amazing.
Yeah, the hand cut fries, they are amazing, and I know that you try to eat on the healthier side, so you should definitely. When next time, try the crab cakes, or we do a different fish preparation every day. So you should definitely try that out as well.
Yeah. Again, cravesc.com is their website. You can take a look at their menu there. Now, the restaurant is just one part of it because adjacent to the restaurant, you have your market. Talk with us about that.
Yeah, so the market is a specialty food market. We have a butcher section, a fish section. There's charcuterie and cheese. We have a prepared food area. And even if you're just coming in to grab a coffee or a cappuccino, we have fresh baked goods. In the next couple of weeks, we will be adding a area where you can come in and order a sandwich or a salad that is, you get to choose all your toppings and your meats and your lettuces or however you want us to build it. So that'll be opening in a few weeks. We're also going to add some seating to the market to sit inside, but I'm confident that the weather's going to change really soon, and that outdoor seating is really going to take off. But it's a great space, and this is adjacent to the restaurant, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah. Did I see that you guys have a Sunday brunch as well?
Oh, Sunday brunch is amazing. Yeah, we open at 10:30 on Sunday for brunch, we do the traditional eggs Benedict and omelets, and we have a beautiful stuffed French toast. We do these really lovely glazed donuts, and our biscuits are to die for.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Peg and I have not tried the brunch yet, but that's something we're going to do real soon. Lynn Rinaldi with me today. And Lynn, just thank you so much for your time today, and good luck with you. Peg and I you're our favorite place to eat now over at Lake Keowee because you're so close to us. I mean, it's just like a 15-minute drive from our home on the northern end of Lake Keowee. So good luck to you. We're certainly going to do our part to support you, and look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Okay, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you and Peg very soon.
Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Founded in 1985, Remote Area Medical is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to prevent pain and alleviate suffering by providing free, quality health care to those in need. To accomplish this, Remote Area Medical operates pop-up clinics delivering this free, quality dental, vision, medical services to underserved, uninsured, and underinsured individuals who do not have access to or cannot afford a doctor. Joining me today is David Morales to talk about their free pop-up clinic in Greenville this weekend. Welcome, David. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. I appreciate your time today. Give us an overview of what Remote Area Medical does.
So, as you said, Remote Area Medical is a health nonprofit. We are based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. What we do is we travel around the country and we work with communities such as Greenville to bring a clinic to the community. So the clinics can look different community to community. Like you said, we typically provide dental, vision, and medical. In Greenville specifically, though, we'll just be providing vision and medical services, including women's health services for the people of Greenville.
Let's talk about, now, obviously you're here in Greenville this weekend, but you travel all around. Give us your general area of operation.
Our general area of operations is the United States. It's pretty broad. We have clinics going on in New Mexico, Nevada, Florida, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Ohio. We go everywhere. Yeah, we go pretty much anywhere they'll invite us, we'll go.
Now, do you have multiple vehicles and different teams in different areas?
Yes, we have a whole fleet of vehicles. We have several semi-trucks. We have a couple box trucks. We have a mobile denture lab. We have a lot of vehicles. That way we're able to reach many communities, even within the same weekend. For example, this weekend, I'll be in Greenville, but one of my coworkers, he'll be in Miami, Florida. So we can operate many clinics at once, which really allows us to impact a lot more communities around the country.
Sure. With me today, David Morales. He is the clinic coordinator for Remote Area Medical. You can find out additional information and see their schedule at ramusa.org, ramusa.org, and they are in Greenville this weekend. Saturday, all day, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., and again, Sunday, 6 a.m. to around 1, 2 in that range. Let's talk for a minute, David. What exactly is a pop-up clinic?
So our clinics, we call them pop-up clinics basically because we are able to show up and set up on a Friday and be out of that space and return it back to the way it was Sunday evening. So, for example, when I get off the phone here, I'll be driving up to Greenville and we'll start setting up on Friday. And then Sunday, as you noted, the times close a little early just so we have time to pack up and get back to Knoxville. So the pop-up clinic itself is just us utilizing a space provided to us by the community, bringing our own equipment, setting it up. That way we're able to see patients from Greenville, South Carolina, for example.
Sure. David, who runs these clinics? Are there doctors, nurses, and are these paid or are they volunteers?
So RAM works in conjunction with a host group from the community. In this case, the host group is medical students from the USC School of Medicine in Greenville. So we work with the community to help bring the clinic there, but at the clinic itself, there will be volunteer providers. So these are providers who are giving up their time on the weekend to really give back to their community. It would be impossible for RAM to do what it does without its volunteers, both its providers and just what we call general support, which are just people who might not be a doctor, but are just looking for a way to give back to their community. Without our volunteers, we would be wholly unable to do any of these clinics. We're always very grateful for the people that are able to give their time.
Sure. And if you're just joining us again, David Morales is the clinic coordinator for Remote Area Medical. You can find out information about this wonderful organization, ramusa.org. And they are in Greenville this weekend on Saturday, 6 to 3, again on Sunday, starting at 6 a.m. And they're at 607 Grove Road. That's the Prisma Memorial Medical Campus there at the University of South Carolina Medical School in that general area. If you know where the hospital is, the medical school is just next door there. So do your clinics provide like general health care, colds, flu treatment, and what about vision and dental care?
For vision care specifically, we'll do eye tests. We also make glasses. So typically if someone who comes for vision will get an eye test, we'll get their prescription, and we'll also get an eye health test, which will basically assess like the health of their retinas. Mainly it's checking for glaucoma and other eye diseases. But I think is really the most impactful immediately is the fact that we bring a truck that we have outfitted to make glasses so people can get their glasses the same day as they get their eye exam.
Wow.
So I always think that's one of the more immediate impacts that RAM can have on the community is we will tell you what your eyesight is, but also give you the glasses for free that you need to see.
Now that's just amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Obviously, David, this kind of thing costs money. Who pays for this?
So we're able to keep the lights on and keep the trucks going basically through donations. Remote Area Medical has been running for 40 years. This is our 40th year. And we started out with $5 and $10 donations from just people around Knoxville. But today we're still that kind of same organization that we thrive off donations just from regular people, $5, $10. Now it's coming from all around the country. And that's how we're able to keep it going. We just really thrive off of the generosity of other people and the willingness to give both their time like the volunteers, but also their money like our donors. That's really how we're able to do this all.
Sure, yeah. David Morales is with me today. Again, you can find out additional information, and if you'd like to support this group, ramusa.org. That's ramusa.org. You can find out their entire schedule. For example, again, they're in Greenville this weekend. They'll be in Knoxville, Knoxville, Tennessee, Hendersonville, North Carolina, just really all around the country here. How many people will you typically treat in a weekend?
It depends on the size of the clinic. We just did our big Knoxville clinic this past weekend, which kind of kicks off our year. I believe we saw 1,000 patients, a little over 1,000 patients. In Greenville, we'll probably have a little less capacity because the Knoxville one is one of our bigger clinics.
Yeah.
But if all goes well, I bet we're able to see between 300-400 people this weekend, hopefully.
Wow. David, if someone who's listening needs some help, or maybe they know someone, do you just show up? Do you need to register? What's the process?
So our process is we have a parking lot. We open that parking lot to patients around midnight. Patients will come in. Some of them come in at midnight. Some of them don't. I always tell people I would encourage you to get there as early as you can, because sometimes I show up to the clinic at 4 a.m. and the parking lot's completely full and we're almost out of space for the day. Sometimes I'll show up at 4 a.m. and there's only 2 cars there. So it's really variable. So I always tell people to show up as early as they can. And then basically from there, you get handed a ticket, and it's essentially like a giant line. You'll wait your turn, and then you'll get called in, you'll get registered, and then we'll get you seen as soon as we can.
Yep. David Morales with ramusa.org. Ramusa.org is where you can get information on this. Thank you for what you do, this wonderful organization helping people in our community, and hope you have a safe weekend, and hope we can catch up with you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That's it for this special weekend edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.